We want to take you to the scene near Hennops River where the families of the SAPS members who've died have now arrived. You're seeing them. Let's take those visuals full screen. In fact, they're now being comforted by the Deputy Police Minister, Polokwane. They've come face to face with the place that at this stage we believe may have been the place of their children's death. 3 young constables, Linda, just 24 years old, Buibelo Sonoche, just 20, and Giamokhetsu Base, just 30 years old.
Guys, Lungi.
Our reporter.
And of course, as you heard there, our reporter Crisalda Lewis is on standby. This is the Deputy Police Minister, Polokwane, who is comforting the family members. There you can see the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibia. Crisalda, as you heard, we heard her earlier on, is at the scene for us. Crisalda.
All right, Bongiwe, as you correctly pointed out, the families have arrived here at the scene where the bodies of the 3 police officers were retrieved from the Hennops River. The families have been comforted by the Deputy Police Minister. Very emotional scenes at this time. The family confirming the worst after having identified the bodies of their loved ones at the mortuary a bit earlier on. This is a very sad moment for these families, and you can understand why they are so inconsolable at this stage. This is the scene where the loved ones met with tragedy and being consoled. I think this would be some sort of closure for them while the investigations continue. Coming to the scene is a moment where they are able to see where their loved ones met their demise. I heard from police that as these investigations continue, they're currently investigating a culpable homicide case, but I tell you, these families would want to know Bongiwe, as you would understand, you've got medics also that are on site at the moment, just trying to assist in the process of helping them to come to terms. It's a very painful moment for these families. The National Police Commissioner, you'd know, had been with the families since very earlier on this afternoon after they were told to make their way. In fact, they were fetched from Bloemfontein to come and identify the remains of their loved ones. Absolutely inconsolable at this stage. Quite understandably so, Bongiwe, as police continue their investigations.
Today, because we were missing one.
Bongiwe, let's just take a listen in.
We found it right downstream.
About 6 km, I'm sure. About 6 km.
Yes, from here. We found the other colleague there. But one of the issues that made us to believe that there's something also here is this embankment.
Okay, we'll go there now.
Yeah, we will go there. But you could see that there was some sort of an accident. So we believed that something would have happened here. And remember that this incident, it happened on Thursday morning, very early in the morning, around past 2 in the morning, and it was raining.
Okay. Can I just cut in there? You say the accident happened in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning.
Around what time? What time was it when you picked up the signal? Yes.
When it hit here, it was 12 minutes past 2 in the morning. 12 minutes past 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what would you say if you say the tracker company managed to pick up the car from up to Midrand?
Up to Midrand?
Yes.
Yeah, the tracker actually it sort of lost signal at Baklu interchange.
Okay, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
Okay. But what would you say, Baklu interchange? But what would you say if we, as the family, say, information that we have is that the tracker, they could manage to take the car up to Midrand, 5 a.m. in the morning. Did you verify?
5 a.m. in the morning.
Did you verify that information?
That one we did not pick up. On the 24th, it was 12 minutes past 2 where we lost it.
But
here.
we gave your station or your police station information to that effect.
Okay.
That the tracking company said they could trade the company up to Midrand. Did you follow up on that information?
We followed up the information of the tracker, of the cell phones, and other technologies.
Am I right to say if that be the case, then that other toll plaza must have picked up the car on the route to Midrand? Am I right in saying so?
Which toll plaza? Midrand is this way.
Oh, so Midrand is okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's why we picked. That's why I'm saying the tracker accounted for that car at Baklu interchange.
Okay, Baklu interchange is that way.
Yeah, it's there.
So isn't it strange that after this tower you lost signal, but then the signal was again picked on route to Midrand? I'm just asking.
No. The vehicle was going this way.
Yes.
It has passed Midrand.
Oh, from that.
It's going this way.
Okay.
Yeah. Midrand is there.
Okay.
It's not this direction.
Okay. Can we then proceed to the scene?
All right, Bonge, we're going to proceed to the scene. We're going to proceed to the scene at the moment where the families will be shown where the vehicle
was disturbed. In fact, if you look even further down,
May I?
you see that there was a point of impact where we believe that the vehicle would have made an impact. And then we also observed here some of the pieces of a Volkswagen. And there was the pieces of a grill, which matches the color exactly, because it was creamy, that vehicle. So it matches that. And then there were pieces of Volkswagen down there. So it made us to suspect that we are at the right place. All these leads that I indicated.
Now, this can you confirm, embankment? Can you confirm to us that it was after they got lost, or it has been like this before?
This one is subject to investigation, so I can't confirm that. But it may be, it may not, but it's subject to investigation.
Right, families asking critical questions, Bongiwe, of what really happened here. The families are at the scene quizzing police on what they know about the investigation and the damage that we've seen here to the embankment.
You must watch out.
The damage that was seen here at the embankment.
There was an accident.
Yeah.
Now the car flew over to the river.
Yeah.
Is the tide of that river that stone that it can sweep the car away?
Yes. Remember on Thursday, like I'm saying, this river was full.
Okay.
and it was, you can see now it has subsided, but it was very high, you know. And once the car sort of falls or any object, it would have been swept. In fact,
Well, I think
as you go,
it went off here, it went off further down.
yeah, further down there.
Further
And you
down,
can see
there,
Yeah.
or further down there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the bodies, you say they were found 500 meters
Yeah, from here.
from here,
Yeah, downstream.
downstream.
Yeah.
And the other body was found 6 kilometers downstream.
Yeah, downstream. So it was swept beyond because the other body was trapped by debris.
Okay.
You know, the branches and
Which other body? From the two of the one that you found today?
the two of yesterday. They were 500 meters from here.
Trapped by
The other one was trapped and it was exposed to weather.
Okay.
That is why, yes. And then the other one, it was trapped, but it was still underneath the water. That is why it was a little bit better. It was not so decomposed. That was yesterday.
Now, one other question. The car has not been found as yet.
No, we are still investigating. We are still tracing.
Let's suppose
the
that the accident happened on Thursday morning. Today is Tuesday. We have found the bodies, and but we have not found the car. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, for us, yes, we can't exclude anything. It's a bit strange, but we are looking. We are investigating and looking for the vehicle. In fact, we found other two vehicles here downstream.
And that's where my next question comes. Isn't it strange that all of a sudden there's vehicles being found here? I mean, this area now seems to be accident prone. Now that vehicles are falling in and you are finding bodies in here. Isn't that strange? I mean, I'm just asking for...
Well, I can't say it's strange because this road, when it rains, normally there will be water. And if you don't know it and you drive with speed, you can easily lose control. And then that is why here, it's not the only accident. Normally there are accidents here on this road or stretch of road.
Not from my side, General. I don't have any other questions.
Show them more or less where the car.
Yeah.
All right, the families continue to be shown the area where.
Somewhere around here. And went over, you can see the river is here. Like I'm saying, it was full. This river, it was very full. So it hit here, over, and then there were other parts even on top of this.
Yeah, you see, General, I would only be convinced that it's them who hit, who say that who hit this place. If we can have a report that there was no other car prior to this incident, that this was them hitting this, then I would be maybe find closure and saying they are the ones. Number two, I still have a problem because now you're saying you found other cars, maybe the other cars came, fell in here before them or thereafter. I just need to find, you cannot exclude anything. But I don't know what, I don't know what to say. This is heartbreaking, but it's fine.
All right, Ntate. All right, the families asking questions, about the current investigation into the death of their loved ones, and the family is now being taken to the area. As you can see here, this is being shown. It's absolutely devastating, I can tell you, Bongiwe. Absolutely devastating for these families being held by the police. They get some sort of closure today because their loved ones have been missing for 6 days. This is very, very distraught families who are now getting some closure. The families have made their way to the scene, and they finally get some sort of closure today in terms of at least knowing what happened to their loved ones.
It's not here, but it's the same river. So that one we cannot say that it fell here. It's just that it's the same river.
Do we conclude your investigations are not yet?
No, we are not yet concluded.
So
up until we find the car,
okay.
we cannot say we conclude because we need to find.
Okay. Let's just come.
Because we don't know who o batle motho ya linsiyo pela lona le sa tsebe mo a leng teng. So now nna se ke thabetseng fela gore ke thotse body ya ngwanaka ele sharp so ke a tseba gore body ya ngwanaka ke ena ke ne ke lo e beya kae wa bona ke yona fela ga bohlokwa gore ke thotse body ya ngwanaka. So I'm relieved.
Please tell us who your child is and just a bit about your child.
Ngwanaka ke Bipelo Senoge. And Bipelo, she was a darling mon, and a friend mon, and Ukara Singwanaka, and a friend. Narutuana and every Lea to Lalinka, every Lea to Lalinka, Nel communicate. What's up? Ribu, Papa Kifita, Krasmir, Papa Kifita Kai, Papa Kifita Kai. But you don't know how Mesa, just a little time, we don't know how to feel. So, but I'm relieved. Sponsors sebedite, but thotse se hore neng re se batla, which is keep body ya ngwana wa.
Ntate ke Griselda ke tswa SABC. Condolences to you and your family. The discovery that has been made has obviously shattered your family.
Yeah.
And you've come here for closure today.
Yes.
Is this closure for you? O batla gore at least maybe investigation must continue so that we can get to the bottom of what really happened here.
No, sponsors closer than it's not la pele ka di investigation, but rona seo re neng re lla ka sone go fumana fela body ya ngwana wa rona. So re mthotse, so re fa sponsor chance gore ba etse mosebetsi wa bona. Yeah.
Right.
This is Boipelo's father.
This, of course, being the father of one of the Kintate Constable Boipule Senoge's father, whom I'll ask my colleague to come this way, Constable Boipule Senoge's father, who was speaking to the media just a moment ago. And he says that for him, finding the body of his child is what gives him closure. He's now hoping that the investigations will continue. Those investigations will continue, and he's hoping that that closure that they will all need. They're putting their hopes. You saw some of the other family members also quizzing police, taking down notes of what police had told them about the scene here. But of course, those investigations are still going to continue. But these are clearly families that are wanting closure at this particular time, and an investigation perhaps to reveal exactly what happened. Because recall, one of the questions that was posed by one of the family members relates to the other vehicles that were also found here at the scene. And even though there'd been parts of the VW Polo that the police officers had been traveling in, parts of that BMW had been found here. The vehicle itself has still not been found at this stage. Those are just some of the questions that these loved ones are posing about what possibly could have happened, and a very emotional, much support, I must say, been given by the South African Police Service to these families to bring them to this area. This part here, I'll ask my colleague Kwazimanzi just to, this part has also been a question of what the families, they wanted to come here and see what has taken place. And at this particular point, the families say this might be some kind of closure for them. Very devastating moment for these families at this particular time. So the families continue to have talks with police on the investigations and what it is that they have found. Psychosocial support has also been given to these families who are obviously very devastated. You recall the National Police Commissioner had been with these families since very early on this afternoon to take them to the mortuary to go in and identify the bodies of their loved ones. The sad news, terrible news confirmed that 3 of those bodies that were found are indeed those of the 3 missing police officers. And the other 2 bodies, recall, we've been reporting that 5 bodies in total had been found. The 2 others, police are telling us, there doesn't seem to be any link whatsoever to this particular case, which they're still investigating at this particular time. So the families themselves having a sense of absolute devastation, but somewhat some kind of closure for these families, in that they are able to now say that at least they will be able to bury their children. For many families, of course, in tragedies such as this, police indicating that they're still investigating a case of culpable homicide. But if that would change at a later stage, that will depend on the evidence, of course, that has been found here. Questions about where the vehicle still is at this point. Police indicating some of the evidence that had been found related to the VW Polo that these police officers had been traveling in. But a very sad moment, and I think we've also seen with the South African Police Service, these members of the South African Police Service have been absolutely devastated by what has taken place. There have been many questions asked about what had happened to them, some sense of closure here today for them. At least they'll be able to bury their loved ones. We've gotten an extensive report from the National Police Commissioner, with him also bringing the families here, and for them to get that sense of closure is quite important for these families. Psychosocial support has also been given extensively to these families to try and help them cope with the devastating news, and the fact that they had been brought from Bloemfontein to come and identify the bodies of their loved ones at the mortuary. And the scenes that we've seen here since a couple of moments ago is absolute devastation on the faces of these families. But like I said, Bongiwe, some sense of closure, but many questions still being asked, as you could have heard there. One of the family members, asking about the vehicle. Has the vehicle been found? No, the vehicle's not been found, but some parts of the vehicle have been found here. Questions about, could the vehicle have perhaps been swept by the heavy current here at the Hennops River? None of those questions can be answered at this particular time. Whether there was any foul play that was suspected. We heard from police that currently they're investigating a culpable homicide case, and if there are any investigations that would reveal otherwise, then police, of course, would change their stance at a later stage in terms of exactly what it is that they are investigating at this time. I'm going to see if I don't know if it's possible for me to speak to Undate. He is still getting an update from the police at this time. You can see many questions that these families are asking. And, the police also indicating that these are their colleagues. They're going to investigate this matter. They're going to make sure that these families do get a closure. They say they're willing to listen to whatever it is pertaining to this investigation. But for them, it is very important if they are able to perhaps, I think, well, we'll see if we're able to speak. Ndade, are you part of the families as well who have, all right, Ndade. So they're also taking down some details at this stage. And Brigadier, are we maybe able to have a word? Lindade. The families at this particular point, having gone through this absolute devastation, are waiting, for more details. But the investigation, of course, itself is still underway. But I guess the kind of closure that these families would have needed, now they are able to bury their loved ones. And they're saying for them, closure this afternoon was to identify that indeed the loved ones that had been missing for days, finding those bodies is a sore point. We saw the emotions here today, Bongiwe, but finding their loved ones was very important for them. It brings them a sense of closure, while, of course, these investigations continue. The family is now going to make their way from the scene, and I guess they're going to have to start now to process everything that has happened. But the police, of course, breaking that news to them a little bit earlier on today. Asking them, transporting them to Johannesburg. And in fact, in Pretoria, that is where the identification of their loved ones' bodies was made. So these families, having come to the scene for that kind of closure, Bongi, you can obviously understand, I guess, any parent or any family member who does not know about the whereabouts of their loved ones, to now get such tragic news must be absolutely devastating. But the South African Police Service have been providing support to these families. I did say psychosocial support a bit earlier on, and it must have been incredibly difficult, in particular if they are from their homes. They've come to Johannesburg, to Pretoria, and they're met with such devastating news. That support has been given by the South African Police Service to these families. Now begins that daunting, mammoth task of having to bury their loved ones, and that is obviously going to be incredibly difficult at this particular time. The families are now going to make their way to the areas where they will be stationed. But Bongiwe, I think that's where we would be able to just we got a sense from the families a bit earlier on. One of the family members describing their child said that she was kind. She was a very friendly person. And while others remain or try to remain strong during this time, the others absolutely shattered by what has happened. Bongiwe, I think we will hand it back to you in studio for now.
Crisalda, thank you very much for that. SABC News senior reporter Crisalda Lewis reporting from the scene, Hennops River, where the families of those 3 constables have now gone firsthand to see the site where we believe, and I say believe because we don't know the circumstances of their deaths, this is where the bodies were found. It's not clear if it is in fact where they died because that is still subject to an investigation. The father of Bibulo Sonuche, one of these police officers, speaking a short time ago, said that he's now relieved that his child's body has been found. He described a close relationship. He said that he and his daughter, who was only 20 years old, has now died. He said they basically were friends and spoke regularly. And that's when he began to worry when they drove off to Limpopo and she did not make any contact, and that's when the family began to worry that something had gone wrong. He says police have at least now been able to give the family a body to lay to rest. They are heartbroken, but they now know at least half of the story regarding what ultimately happened to their children.